For the first time ever in DC Comics, we face a transcendent being. Dagon, the absolute ruler of the blue, has subjugated every single resident of the blue and its gods, taking the city of Atlantis as his prize, his hostages. Now Aquaman, the king, has decided to go on a mission to find his people and slay a god, becoming so much more in the process. Let us begin. If you're lost in the sauce, go check out my previous video on Aquaman. Then come back to this, hit the subscribe button, join the family. Let's begin. Because judgment is being carried out. 3 judges, subordinates to the great Dagon, are passing judgment on every single person who crosses him, even for the minute things. A father trying to get food for his family is actually sentenced to death. That already sucks. Worst part is, he's sentenced with his family, and it's not even a quick death. They send them out into the deep blue sea, and they are fed on by creatures of the deep. It was cruel. It was harsh. They actually watched as the family were eating, and the judges smiled and laughed. This is the world they live in. This is the world of Dagon. The blue was cold. The blue was unhappy. And even Aquaman could feel it in the air. Despair was oozing off of individuals. One person had more despair than he could even let on. His name was Nemo, and he was about to die just like the man and his family. What was his crime? Well, he just wanted to adventure, sail anywhere he wanted, and because of this, they took his ship and sentenced him to death, all because he wanted to explore. Nemo could fight for himself, but still, he needed help. Aquaman wanted to. The first king of Atlantis and the lady of the lake told him not to. This is not our mission. We have to stay focused. But he was Aquaman. He does what the hell he wants. He grabbed the guard with one hand and choke-slammed him so hard, the rest noticed so fast, pulling out their blades, but using his blade, he just rendered them crippled. Let him go, or you die. Standing before a real gangster, they knew what was what, so they left, and he picked him up. Good friend. Any enemy of Dagon is a friend of mine. He said, cool, let's go to the bar so we could talk. And so they went. He explained his situation. He was just sailing on his ship, and suddenly he was in this place. He doesn't know why. He still wanted to explore. They wouldn't let him. They took his ship and called him a criminal, a blasphemer. He was to be killed. Aquaman's focus was just on his family. He was explaining his own situation when Nemo said, oh, your wife, red hair? He said, yeah, I know where she is. Aquaman jumped up like, yeah, let's go get your ship, bruh. Thank God I helped your ass. Now, he knew how to cause trouble. He knew the respect his people had for Dagon, which is why he stepped up to the palace and said, fuck Dagon. The gods lost their shit. He didn't care. He tossed him in, only to be greeted by Titanus, a shark hybrid. He was strong, impounding Aquaman and taking him to the Council of Judges where they judged him to die, acidic bath or something. But he didn't care because he was just playing games like, I was just joking, bruh. I was hoping you could be redeemed, but seeing as you do not want to even hear my argument, you just want to kill me, I'm done playing like I've been captured. He stood up, shattered the chains, knocked out this freaking shark, and called his people, Arion, Vivienne, let's get to business. She tossed him his trident and he went to work. Side by side, they fought. The enemies just kept coming, but he just kept putting them down. Both of them were very proficient fighters. Even Nemo was enjoying himself. Where's my ship, you animal? It was crazy work. But still, they came here for one thing, which was the ship. Even the mermaid bounty hunters pulled up like, we're taking you, but nah. Vivienne said, fuck off, fish. Getting access to the vault was easy. They expected the ship to be an actual ship, not this shit. This was a spaceship, technically. They were excited because they knew this shit moved fast. But still, the shark was strong. They couldn't hold the doors for long. Benefit was they didn't need to. They had Aquaman. Not only could he control the savages of the fishes outside, the ones that actually eat flesh, now he controls the water itself. He was done. He unleashed both at the same time, allowing them to escape and allowing the fishes to eat. They were clean and clear. Now, it was to find his family. But here's the thing. One person knew exactly where his family was. That was Dagon himself. He pulled up and he could have killed all of them, but he said, nah, I'll wait for your mans to get here, and then I'm going to kill you right in front of him. It's going to be lovely. Somewhere else, a few days ago, the gods of the ocean had assembled, and I mean every god from every mythology. They came here to discuss the rising threat, which was Dagon himself. He just pulled up claiming everything to be his. Now, if you know the gods, you know their powers are rooted in theft. They would just see an element without control and claim it as theirs. They were basically pirates. So it made sense that if Dagon wanted to control all of the blue, he had to completely subjugate every threat or eliminate them. This time, he chose to eliminate every single oceanic god, and he killed them quickly. He was astonished as to how they were so freaking weak. Who's next? A king, apparently, because if all the gods fail, only one man could stand in his way, and that man was currently being hunted by a kraken-like beast. They needed help. So, Arion pulled his magics. He had a magic to blind this creature, and that is all they could do because they couldn't fight it. As soon as the creature was blinded, they decided to run away. But the creature said, "Nah, I'm chasing you down, bruh. You ain't that fast." So Aquaman said, "Okay, this ship ain't that fast, but I am." He went outside and pushed the damn ship, dog. It was so cool. He was doing all these incredible feats in the pursuit of finding his family. And we see that him and Vivienne had become close. Now, we don't know how much time passed. She kept assuring him that everything would be alright, B. And honestly, they needed to restock, so the perfect stop was in the House of Divinity, where almost every god of the ocean pulled up. This was the place where they were going to restock. But the thing is, this place looked barren. It looked like no one has been here in decades, and in the shadows, someone watched. They explored and found what they needed. And honestly, I meant that because they found a jug that held life. Life in a jug? How is that possible? Honestly, Arthur was more focused on what was surrounding him because he could feel it. Something is here. And in the shadows, they heard a voice. "You dare? You dare invade our hall?" Nobody steals from the gods. As we see, it was the gods themselves, now undead, attacking Arthur while he stood his ground. The combination with his wife's abilities and his, he was basically a god of the ocean. He could control the very ocean they lived in. But still, he needed help. So, Arion unleashed what was in the bottle. Come to find out, it was water, a different type. This water was sentient. It straight up went to the gods and humbled each and every single one of them, cleansing them of the filth. Now, this was weird because everyone thought it was Arthur, but he said, "Nope, this ain't me." In amazement, he looked and he recognized this individual. It was one of the Wonder Twins, Zane. "Hey, bro, what you doing here?" Because if you know Zane, he has the ability of turning into water in different forms. So he was technically as super powerful as Aquaman in this place. With his abilities, saving Atlantis was a sure thing, and we see that firsthand. The forces of Dagon were taking civilians to do whatever they want to with, but nah, he pulled up and stopped them because he was war itself. You cannot harm what you cannot touch. And more impressive was Aquaman because he was humbling everybody, bruh. Not just him. Arion, Vivienne, this team was solid, and they had a ship that could do wonders because as Aquaman just looked to the sky, he saw it. Nemo's ship was ripping everything apart. This was the perfect team. They were annoying a god, and he didn't care. Dagon, we're coming for you. Vivienne was the only logical person because, as much as you're stronger now, this guy is a god, bro. Dagon killed gods more ancient than you, bruh. What are you going to do when you see him? He said, "Well, I'm going to beat his ass." Even the Wonder Twin was hyped, like, "Yeah, we beating his ass, bruh." The plan was set. Now all they had to do was find Atlantis. This came fast because they were dragged into a flowway. It's kind of like a hyperlane drive in the ocean. You don't have control over where it takes you. And it took them to a village of seaweed where Atlantis was hidden. Atlantis? What the hell? He was screaming for his loved one, but someone told him, "Shut the hell up. Who the hell are you to be screaming my mother's name?" He looked at her like, "Your mother? Nah, this has to be something but a mad joke." Until he saw his body and his friend, Jackson and Garth. They were old, like really, really old. "My king, it's been decades. Decades. Where's Mera?" On the back, someone said, "There's that name again. Why do you keep saying Mera? You, the false king who disappeared, who abandoned your people. My king, prepare yourself." "Prepare myself for what?" And then he saw her. The love of his life was literally inches from death. Mera was decrepit and old. He didn't even want him to look at her, but still, he loved her regardless. She wanted him to take their daughter and run. Because Dagon ain't no sucker. Dagon is real, and he kills for fun. Funny enough, Dagon was right outside, bruh. Fantastic. All of you are here, ready to die. The fish comes in like, "May I kill some of them, my lord?" He said, "Nah, I'll take this ones. Anyone interrupts, you can kill them." In the middle of the city, he was calling out the king of Atlantis. Aquaman, pull up. Let's run these fades, bruh. Mera was begging him, don't go before she died. But he said, nope, I'ma kill this prick. You took my family. You took my wife's youth. My kid grew up without a father. You die. His kid said, of course he dies. I'm coming with you, prick. Right outside, the fight was about to pop off. The rest of Atlantis said they're not fighting, and we realized why. Because Dagon is him. He said, all of you come to die. Father and kid. Before the fight even starts, we see a brief flashback when Arthur first experienced loss. He thought he was a hero. He went out as Aquaman for the first time, tried to save a family that was drowning. Except he came late and the family drowned. He experienced serious loss that day, bruh. He could never recover until his father told him to lock in, absorb the pain, and fight above it, bruh. That's what he's about to do now. Fight a god killer. He told his boys to back him up, and they did. Instantly, they died. Literally, they were one-shotted. It was crazy. These were actual named characters too. Garth and Jackson, Aqualad, both of them just died, bruh. Arion joined the fight with his magic. Nemo was called on to shoot this prick down, and they shot everything they had. Dagon absorbed that shit, bruh, and he stood in triumph. He said, okay, let me show you guys my true form, right? He starts to morph and mutate and grow. He was a Kraken level monster and a god killer too. Aquaman was not scared. He should have been, bruh. The mermaids saw Dagon's true form and were like, yeah, maybe we're on the bad side. Let's kill these monsters. But Dagon wasn't even phased. He went for Nemo's ship. He started killing everybody left and right. With Aquaman screaming, your head is mine, he said, nope, I'ma take your heart. This girl lost her mother, found her father, and lost him again. What kind of life is this? Nah, Aquaman ain't dead. He was just napping. Because while Dagon was screaming, I am your death, I will kill you, I am your god, all of that bullshit, he just heard his name. The king had returned, now realizing what the hell he is. Because he doesn't just command the fish no more, he commands the very ocean itself. You die today. And he just starts hacking and slashing this big monster. He blinded him, and for some reason this monster thought it was smart to swallow him. He killed him from the inside because he runs the blue. He had the orb right in his hands. He commanded the whole ocean, the whole element of water, and still, he shattered that motherfucker like nobody gets to control the blue. Not even me, bruh. He gave us our One Piece moment. Yeah, this is the Aquaman I know and love. It's just a shame his family is all the way fucked up right now.